Hey guys, it's Heather the Crochet Witch. How are you guys doing today? Welcome to day 15 of Vlogtober. Sorry, I haven't just been crying or anything. I actually, this is the third time I've started this video because I have just gotten into this massive, like, coughing, choking. I think it's under control now. Anyway, welcome to day 15 of Vlogtober. If I haven't said it during this take. Yeah, so we are half a day away from being halfway through the month. That's insane, and it's both exciting and hurts my heart at the same time. I wish October was gonna last forever. As you know, it's kind of my jam. But hi. Let's see what's gone on today. I worked today. I have been sick. I don't know if you can tell that or not, but I have been. I think it's just like a bug, coughy, sneezy, like achy kind of bug, but I'll get over it. I think I just need some good sleep and to keep hydrated. But I mean, it's okay. I'm functional, so it's okay. I just told everybody, I can't wait to go home and be miserable at home. But it's been a good night. Like, Damon made me grilled cheese. So I was like, yay, thank you. That's my grandma's remedy for making me feel better, was grilled cheese. If I'm really sick, it's grilled cheese and chicken noodle soup. But I don't think I was that level of sick tonight. It'll be okay. But I digress. Anyway, so Damon made me grilled cheese and we watched some Good Mythical Morning, which if you've been around, you know that we are both big fans of that. We try to watch it together. Like, we have watched it together since I met him, pretty much. And I worked. Like I said, I just wanted to leave work and like make it through my night, and mission accomplished. I am snuggled up in my, this is my Gramps pocket shawl that I told you guys needs to get written up because I think it'll probably be my next pattern release. It's got big, lovely pockets in it, and it's got this border that I've been obsessed with forever. This ribbing border. I don't know how well you can tell in the camera with this yarn. This is some of the Hobby Lobby yarn, the Fireplace Cozy. The stuff that I said always reminds me of Scarfy yarn. Yeah, that's this. I love this thing. It's been buried under some blankets since the last bout of cold weather, but this is what I like to bundle up in. I love this thing. I love it so much. Anyway, so I have been getting bundled up in it tonight and being all cozy and everything. Yeah, I think I'm gonna make another one and write the pattern out because I don't know if you guys would be interested in it, but I super love it. I love it. Anyway, not the point. So yeah, I've just been bundled up and cozy, and like I said, we watched some Good Mythical Morning, and I caught up on YouTube videos tonight. And I was still working on my movie marquee, so I'll do that video probably tomorrow and have it up. I've been late, like late in the week this time. Usually I'm a little bit earlier. I gotta get with it and get to working on it. The problem is this month I'm very into the movie marquee blanket, and that's not a problem. But where the problem lies is I'm very into that, and I have like my hand in like 3 or 4 other like fairly big projects that I'm trying to get all done because they're Halloween-y and this and that, you know, like just too much, basically, a bit off too much. So I'm glad I have a vacation coming up at the end of the month. And it's like a staycation. We're not really like, David and I are going to go to a haunted house, and then on his day off, Damon wants to go. So I'm going to end up at the haunted house twice if I go with David also. But I know Damon really wants to go, which is funny because he's such a scaredy cat. But I am too. Like, you've all seen how easily I scare. So it'll be interesting. I think that they always change the themes. And I think the theme this time is Salem, a haunting in Salem or something like that. I'm very excited, needless to say. So we shall see. But anywho, again, I digress. I wanted to start out by just saying that I felt, how do I put this? I didn't really rehearse this part. I felt motivated to build people up. Does that make sense? I wanted to share some people who have met their milestones and give them some shout outs. And there are some other people who are looking for some milestones to be met. And I thought I would give them a shout out. If you guys are not familiar with them, all of these channels I'm going to link down below. But yeah, like I'm try to stay on the more positive side of everything, especially like when it comes to my YouTube channel, because like positivity is wonderful, but it's the biggest like build up, right? Like nobody wants to be like a Debbie Downer, I'm sure, but I'm saying like we could all use the positivity, and that's why I try to stay focused on that. It helps me because like in my daily life, it is hard. It's a struggle to always like see the positive and stuff in things, and like it's easier said than done. I'm aware of that, but like I just figured if I can help spread some of that positivity, then it will help make, YouTube and the YouTube world maybe a little bit better place instead of like something negative. I don't know if that even made sense, but because it is like 5:30 in the morning, I got a really late start to this video. Yeah, you'll see why in a little bit here. But anyway, I did want to give some shout outs. The first two are some beautiful, lovely women who have made their milestone that they were looking for the month of October. That's another thing too. Like all of these people are searching for in the month of October. Like this is such a magical month. Let's make this happen, you guys. But I'm sure you're familiar with her if you've been around my channel anytime recently. But Samantha at Amethyst Craftworks, she reached her first 100 subscribers yesterday. Very excited for her. She's like super excited. I remember my first 100 subscribers. I'm sure any content makers probably do remember that, right? And it was so exciting. Like, I don't know why, but it was like 100 and then 300 was a huge deal for me. I mean, anything was a huge deal because I'm still at the point where I'm like, how many people want to listen to me just talk on and on and on? How many? But like the 100 was like fascinating to me, and then 300 and then 500 and then the 1,000. I'm like I said, I'm almost at 3,000, almost. And I'm still like, how many people want to listen to me? Really? I mean, I'm thankful. I'm very thankful because I enjoy spending time with you guys. You know it. So it's just that hard to believe, like. Anyway, back to my list. Erin at Crafting Kitty got her 1,000 subscribers just in time for her birthday, you guys. How cool is that? That's awesome. And in October. And then the lovely ladies that I'm about to mention are looking for some milestones. If you guys have not checked out Bella from Bella's Crocheted Gifts, she's at 481 subscribers and looking for her 500th. I know she mentioned next month is, I believe she said her podiversary and YouTube anniversary, whatever you want to call it. And she wants to do some giveaways, and, you know, she wants to make her 500 subscriber count also. So if you are not familiar with her, I know that I have talked about her in the past, and I will be in the future again, but she is wonderful. She knits, she crochets, she has lots of yarny content. Like, you should see her yarn room. She has a video on like her yarn room tour, which puts mine to shame, puts both of mine to shame. Let me just tell you, hers is so beautifully like organized, and just, if you want to see awesome yarn, go to Bella's channel. She's at 481 subscribers at the making of this video, like I said, and she'd very much like to get to 500, and I know that you guys will love her. Neva at Manic Mama Musings is at 959 subscribers, so she's, if my math is correct, only, 41 people away. And she's wonderful. She's funny. And her husband, LJ, he's funny. And they're just adorable to get. I think you guys will really like her. She is super into like Halloween, horror movies, all the spooky, creepy things that go bump in the night. If you guys are here because you like anything like that, you will love her. Just go check her out. And I think, honestly, making her 1,000 in October would be as awesome to her as any milestone is for me. Like, I got my first 1,000 in October also, and I was so excited. And so I would be so excited to get to 3,000 in October, too. Trish at Trish's Creative Treasures. Of course I didn't write that down, but I believe, I don't know why I didn't write hers down. Slip of the mind, I guess. But I believe she's working on 500. For her milestone, and she is really getting some like yarn hauls going right now, and she's doing Vlogtober, and she's very chatty, not in a bad way, very chatty gal. So if you guys are here, you know that I'm very chatty. So I think you guys would also enjoy her channel, so go check her out. And then Bridget at Queen's Crafts by Bridget. Now I know she has recently changed names, so you may have known her under a different name. Very similar, but recently changed. She is sitting at 811 subscribers right now, and I know she wants to get to her 1,000 also. She does knitting and crocheting, and I believe some other craftiness too. She's such a sweet lady. Give her channel a look if you are interested in anything like that, because she's wonderful. She's another person who's very positive, and she's all about like building people up, and I love her energy, so check her out. And then last but not least, of course, most of you are already familiar, but sitting at 2.88K subscribers is Sandy at Crochet A Canada, and I know she would love to get her 3,000 also, just like me. So if you are here and not familiar with Sandy or not subscribed to Sandy, you should go check her out. She does jewelry making. She does all sorts of crochet stuff. Her husband, George, he's a hoot too. Like the two of them, they're adorable. Definitely go check them out and give all of these lovelies some yarny love. And yeah, so anyway, that's my shout out and spiel for the day. I had promised myself I was going to keep today short, and then I was like, no, I have to talk about these lovelies. So yeah, go check them out. Good reminder time too, that if you haven't yet and you're considering subscribing to my channel, now's a really amazing time to do so. I'm just gonna say that. I'd love to hit that 3,000. I'm so excited about that, because it like snuck up on me too. I just didn't notice how close we were getting, and then one day I was like, oh my gosh, start talking about that, get your subscribers. But yeah, so to promote myself, I said I am going to be releasing some patterns and tutorials, and I have yarny goodness to talk about too, you guys, not just creepy Vlogtober stuff. But yeah, anyway. The other thing I have been doing for Vlogtober which, by the way, not only did I told you guys that my advent calendar had came in. Also, to add to that, Neva from Manic Mama, she has got an advent calendar that she'll be opening up also for the 13 days of Halloween. Just food for thought. But not only did my advent calendar come in, but I got my package from Courtney at Fiber Fox Studios, and hers should be there either today or Monday. It said Monday, but her package was early, so I'm hoping that mine will be early for her. But as long as they're there by like Tuesday or so, we're good. We both got in under the wire as long as the mail participates too. And I can't wait to show you guys the wrapping. I didn't bring it over. I unpacked it all to make sure like everything was safe, because I was going to have to, like, if anything looked disturbed, I was going to have to make Damon go rewrap stuff for me. I told her husband has got to check too, to make sure none of my wrapping came like apart or anything, because I would be so sad. I'm not a good wrapper to begin with, but I put some effort into that, so hopefully it's all intact. But I can't wait to, I should have grabbed one, but it's in purple wrapping, but she's got Stranger Things tag, like, you'll have to see. I'm so excited. But the other thing that I've been doing anyway, besides getting ready for the advent calendar and the 13 days of Halloween, is opening one of these a day or more sometimes they're different themed. Like I said, we have Gremlins, we have Halloween 2 specifically. There is still one Universal monster in here that's squeaking. And then an E.T. Themed one. And these are just like little prizes that you can get from like quarter machines, like, you know, just little toy type things or whatever. So each day I'm going to pick one or more. We'll just do one again today. I'm trying to keep everything fairly short. And I want to go to bed, let me tell you what. But anyway, just something kind of neat to... We got a Halloween one. I'm surprised they're all, like, it seems like half of these are like Gremlins, and I just haven't gotten to them yet. But Halloween. And can Heather open it? Yeah, there we go. Ooh. I got a Halloween 2 bracelet, which I did for the Universal monsters. I got a Dracula bracelet. And now I have my Halloween one, which will also probably adorn the same wrist, because this one is pretty full. This one's filling up too, though. Yay! I love it. Actually, I'm just going to put it on right now. Yay! Okay, so that is what I got in there. And then it's Stranger Things time, you guys. I have in my handy L notebook here, I have a bunch of, like, 31 theories, topics of discussion, that kind of thing, for everything Stranger Things. Like, some of these I found them around the internet, some are my own, but some of them are like predictions for upcoming season 5. Some of them are theories or explanations for things that already exist in the world. Some of them are just things that I'd love to see happen. So I'm going to pick a topic. We're going to talk about it as far as my, like, viewpoint on it. And then I would love for you guys to comment if you have any input or thoughts or anything to add to the conversation. Anything. I love the Stranger Things talk, you guys. You already know this. Let's see here. Here is a big one. Death predictions are morbidly running big for season 5 already. They were in season 4 too. I'm happy to say that all the people who said Jonathan or Steve was going to die were wrong. I'm glad I was wrong, because I had this feeling of dread in my heart, especially talking about Steve or Hopper, and I was wrong. I was very happy about that. Pretty devastated over the deaths that we have. But you know what? I am a big fan. There are people who complain that the Duffers don't like to kill off enough characters, that they don't like to get rid of characters, so they keep them around, and there's too many of the cast. I disagree. I'm that person who would keep all of the cast alive till the very end. To me, it makes sense because especially like in season 4 when they branched out to, they were in California, they were in Hawkins, they were in the Upside Down in Hawkins, and they were in Russia. I feel like they couldn't have like one person in each place, or, you know, like I feel like they needed that full cast. You know what I'm saying? Well, the death prediction, I already kind of gave it away, but a big predicted death for season 5 is that Jonathan Byers is going to bite it in season 5. I am fully ready to discuss this. So the reasons that people have named that they think that Jonathan is going to bite the big one is because of him basically having no really great character moments so like in season 1, he was there for Will. He had this really great relationship going with Will, protective and, you know, almost fatherly, but, you know, it's a very cool big brother kind of thing. That spilled over into season 2 a little bit, like when Joyce wanted him to go with Will trick-or-treating and he wanted to ditch for the party, but he said, you know, like, promise you'll meet me back here at a certain time, and you know what, I'll just let you go have fun with your friends. And so he was being like the cool older brother, and then that was it. Like the rest of season 2 and then all of season 3, he was just kind of like, he was with Nancy and he was, I don't know, he was around, but he wasn't one of the names that stood out to me personally. I'm really not a Jonathan fan. Like, there's a lot of things about him that bug me, but that being said, I mean, I love pretty much all the characters to some degree, right? So I would be sad if he died. Would you be sad if he died? Do you have any input, like positive or negative, on Jonathan? Do you like Jonathan, or dislike him? But anyway, a lot of people have said, like, because of the no like real participation, and then he had this one shining moment in season 4, because in season 4 he was basically like just kind of a burnt out pothead. He really didn't have any big roles. He was kind of a comedy relief, and a bad one at that. Like Argyle was, in my opinion, was the funny comedy relief as far as the potheads go, and then Jonathan was just kind of there. Like I didn't find him particularly funny. I found him kind of sad, knowing what he once was, as far as like this awesome driven character, like I said, to protect his family and stuff, and then he was just kind of a screw up. By season 4, he was lying to Nancy. He was basically trying to slowly break up with her for no really good reason, at least nothing explained. He was so high all the time that he couldn't like function. Like when they had the dinner and, you know, all of them were gathered around the dinner and stuff, he couldn't even tell like was it vinegar or something like that? Or salad dressing? He couldn't even tell like what it was. He thought it was wine. So he was just very, very burnt out, right? And then he had this big shining moment where clearly Will was upset with Mike being with Elle and supporting Elle. Like, I don't think he had the problem with that as much as not that it was Elle, but that it wasn't him. Do you know? That's another topic, but like that's a really big theory too, is that his like love for Mike was like a love for Mike. But then, like, Jonathan recognized that, you know, like, whereas Mike sat in the back seat with Will while he was, like, and crying and, you know, and Mike was just like, oh, you really think Elle's into me that much? You know? Jonathan saw that. He saw him right in the rearview mirror, and by the time they got to the pizza place where Elle had her, like, last stand with Vecna kind of thing, her big battle, he had this big, heartfelt talk with Will. There were, you know, memories of the past and tears and lots of just love. And it showed like what a good character Jonathan was underneath all of the I'm too high to function kind of stuff that his character was in. And so he had this big shining moment that kind of was his starring moment, in my opinion, in a lot of people's opinions, I guess. And then he got Elle to Hawkins again. He was supportive and was there for the group. And he was reunited with Nancy, and you'd think all was well. And then he continued to lie to her about his college choices, which was his big guilt trip. I'll just slowly dump Nancy idea to begin with, right? So, like, did he have his character arc and he's just kind of collateral damage at this point? Possibly. I don't know. Like, the Duffers have said there's going to be a lot more death in season 5, and they might as well go out with a big, like, hurrah if they're going to make this their last season. I feel like if something were to push Will to either fight Vecna as hard as he can, or if it's going to push him to the dark side, kind of, depending on which way Will's character goes, Jonathan's death would definitely aid in that one way or another, depending on what happens around it. They're also pushing this giant arc, like love triangle arc kind of thing, with Steve still being in love with Nancy, which I have my own opinions on that one too, but don't get me started. Steve is all in love with Nancy. Nancy is obviously kind of like, nah, I already passed on that. I'm with Jonathan. But yet, things are so awkward between Jonathan and Nancy that, like, are they going to kill him off so that Nancy can just be with Steve? Which, in my opinion, would be really tacky. For, like, if there was a season 6, okay, Jonathan dies in season 5. Maybe season 6 comes along and, like, Nancy's looking to Steve for comfort and then realizes that she loves him, and, you know, maybe that would be acceptable. But, like, if they kill Jonathan off in season 5 and right away Nancy gets with Steve, not going to be a fan of that. I'm just going to say right now. But that could be where they're going. So I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think? Let me know. I will leave that with you guys. I'm going to stop the video and be right back, but I don't want my voice to go all wonky and off while I still have my voice. 1 second here. And we're back. Just a second for you guys, right? Really just a second for me. It was really only stopping and starting the video again. But anyway, the other thing that I have been doing is creepy story time. Yeah, creepy story time. I have been doing some, like, real life cases. I have been doing some paranormal things that have happened to me and my friends. I had my eye on this, like, one fiber that was just, I was like, you better not end up in my mouth or my nose. We had talked about a lot of things, a lot of things over creepy story time. Some urban legends, some cryptids, which I guess are urban legends too. But gather around and let me tell you what I thought was going to be a short one, but we'll see. The story of the Axeman of New Orleans. Have you heard of him before this video? So, to start off with, the Axeman, if you have watched American Horror Story, the Axeman was a part of that, and it was based on a real person and real events. In American Horror Story, actually, he was portrayed pretty close to a lot of the events that happened in a way. You'll see in a minute. If you've seen the show but you weren't familiar with him, you'll see what I mean. But so he was excuse me. He was active mostly between the years of 1918 and 1919. So there wasn't a long span of time, but in that year, basically, year and some change, he had 12 victims that we know of. They had similar ways of getting into the victim's house with all of these. In most of the cases, he removed a panel of the back door with a chisel, mind you. And then he left the panel of the door and the chisel on the floor near the doorway. He just left it there. Like, I'll go get another chisel. It's all good. So that's how he would enter the house. I believe in most of the killings, he murdered the woman of the house. And then he did murder some men, but it was theorized that the only time he really killed men was if they basically got into his way when he was already like going to kill the woman. So the theory was it was like a sexist kind of driven crime, right? And the other theory was that it was a racially driven crime because most of his victims were Italian Americans. Yes, it could have been, and there's a possibility that it wasn't. It could have just been the area that he frequented because much like in, I think in New York, they had settled, like some areas were predominantly Italian, some were predominantly Irish, some were predominantly Chinese and Japanese, I believe, even then. So it may have just been his operating area. It may not have been like, I'm only going to kill Italians, or because it just, nobody knows is the point. Because he was never caught. The Axeman was never caught. Nobody knows for sure. Like, it wasn't like, we know it was this guy, but he died before we could get him, or nobody knows is the thing. It was theorized that he was a man that got killed in like San Francisco in 1920 by the widow of one of the victims, because sometimes he only killed the men too, like couldn't get to the woman or whatever. The missus wasn't home. But when the police started looking into it, they couldn't actually find a record of this man existing, nor could they find the woman being in the area in San Francisco or wherever it was. So they didn't have any definitive proof on that. So it was theorized that he could have been part of the mafia at the time, but that was never proven either. But he did have, like I said, 12 victims that he racked up. And then, mysteriously, on March 13th of 1919, a letter, allegedly from the Axeman, was published in newspapers in the area. I am going to read to you the letter because I find it fascinating and creepy at the same time. I think that he was definitely a troubled person with some illusions, let's just say. So he dated it where the date would normally be. It says hell, March 13th, 1919. So as though he were writing it from hell. It says, esteemed mortal. Now I know back in the 1900s, like early 1900s like this, they did talk a little differently. Like their language was a little varied from the way we talk today. The slang wasn't the same. But I feel like even back then, this was probably a bit odd, like the way this letter reads. And I'm about to read it, I promise. But I'm just saying, bear that in mind. I think that even for the time period, this was a little odd. Esteemed mortal, they have never caught me and never will. They have never seen me, for I am invisible, even as the ether that surrounds your earth. I am not a human being, but a spirit and a demon from the hottest hell. I am what you Orleanians and your foolish police call the Axeman. When I see fit, I shall come and claim other victims. I alone know whom they shall be. I shall leave no clue except my bloody axe, besmeared with blood and brains of he whom I have sent below to keep me company. If you wish, you may tell the police to be careful not to rile me. Of course, I am a reasonable spirit. I take no offense at the way they have conducted their investigations in the past. In fact, they have been so utterly stupid as to not only amuse me, but his satanic majesty, Francis Joseph, etc. Not beat. I just can't read my own handwriting. But tell them to be aware. to beware. Let them not try to discover what I am, for it were better that they were never born than to incur the wrath of the Axeman. I don't think there is any need of such a warning, for I feel sure the police will always dodge me as they did so in the past. They are wise and know how to keep away from all harm. Was that him ribbing at the cops? I think it kind of was. Undoubtedly, you Orleanians think of me as a most horrible murderer, which I am, but I could be much worse if I wanted to. If I wish, I could pay a visit to your city every night at will. I could slay thousands of your best citizens, for I am close in relationship with the angel of death. Now, to be exact, at 12:15 earthly time, on next Tuesday night, I am going to pass over New Orleans. I know he means pass through, like go through New Orleans, like down the streets. But like, I envisioned in my head the actor that plays the Axeman in American Horror Story, like in a sleigh passing over the city. Sorry, it's inappropriate, but I don't know why that just, it's the Axeman. I'm going to pass over New Orleans. In my infinite mercy, I'm going to make a little proposition to you people. Here it is. I am very fond of jazz music, and I swear by all the devils in the nether regions that every person shall be spared in whose home a jazz band is in full swing at the time I have just mentioned. If everyone has a jazz band going, well, then so much better for you people. One thing is certain, and that is that some of your people who do not jazz it out on that specific Tuesday night, if there be any, will get the axe. So I just think I feel like his speech is a little bit, he's very extra. Well, as I am cold and crave the warmth of my native Tartarus, and it is about time I leave your earthly home, I will cease my discourse, hoping that thou will publish this, that it may go well with thee. I have been, am, and will be the worst spirit that ever existed, either in fact or realm of fantasy. The Axeman. So, that was published in the papers to all of the readers of the different papers. And of course, hysteria ensued. Everybody was freaking out. Everybody had to figure out how they were going to get jazz music playing. I'm sure they had records in 1919 or so, but like, yeah, I don't remember when the record was made, but I'm sure it's older than that, right? So there must have been. But that Tuesday, all the New Orleans dance halls were filled, which I bet you anything they were all playing jazz. Every available jazz band were hired to play at parties at hundreds of houses. So everybody imaginable had jazz going. Like, honestly, if this was just, I don't want to say a prank, because obviously he had already had victims and everything. So, I mean, it's not funny, but he basically like threatened a city in style, right? He said, if you have jazz music, that would be like me going, you better be playing 80s glam rock or you're going to get it. Like, I'm sure he picked his favorite. Well, he did say he loved jazz music. And imagine having that amount of control over a city of people, that you fill the air with jazz music because you said so. Like, I'm sure that was quite the power trip for him. But true to his word, there were no murders that night because everybody was playing jazz music. Like, everybody that he encountered or he never came to begin with. So, after that, the Axeman murders stopped. That's when the theory that he had moved to California happened. I saw somewhere that it said something about in Germany, but that's literally the only mention that I saw of Germany. Like, I didn't see where there was crimes that matched or anything like that. So I don't, maybe it was a mistype. I'm really not sure. I guess I'd have to look into that more. But as far as I know, the only Axeman murders were from New Orleans. Yeah, that's the weird. It's I guess more weird than creepy. It's creepy too, though. It is creepy to think about this person with delusions of being a spirit, a demonic spirit, and still having that kind of effect, right? On, like I said, an entire city. Like, could you imagine the fear going through the people of New Orleans that night, that they better get that jazz music playing? And even then, like, if it were me, okay, yeah, I'd be finding a jazz record to play, or, you know, like, whatever. I definitely don't even like that kind of music, really. Like, it's fine, but I'm saying it wouldn't be my cup of tea. And I would still have it playing just because that's a pretty serious, like, he has already, you know, incurred 12 victims. Why poke the bear? Just play the music, you know what I mean? Which I'm sure is what everybody was feeling like. But, like, I would be playing that jazz music and still be wondering, like, this guy is obviously unhinged. Is he gonna just start killing anyway? Is the music gonna draw him to me? Like, I don't want my music to be too loud, but at the same time, I want it to be loud enough in case he's, you know, whole serious and everything. It's a creepy feeling, and I could imagine people just, like, praying that the sun hurry up and come up. You know, there's that whole boogeyman goes away in the dark kind of, or in the light kind of thing. But so I do think that it was definitely creepy, and I think that it fit the theme for my creepy stories. But it's also a little, like, if you really look at it and pick it apart, the guy was definitely, like, not well. He was definitely scary. He was scary. And it's more scary that he was never caught. This guy just went into people's houses. Like, yeah, he broke in the back door, but he just went into people's houses and murdered them with an axe. It wasn't even something, like, small or quiet, and he got away with it. It's so scary. Anyway, have you previously heard of the Axeman? And if so, did you hear about it besides American Horror Story? Just curious if you had or not. On that note, I will let you guys go. I've already pandered and begged you to subscribe. So again, if you feel inclined, please do so. On Wednesday, I will start opening up my Advent calendar, and we can start planning what I'm going to do with it. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a blanket, knowing me. But I do already have an 24-day Advent calendar for a blanket, and I have another Advent coming in at Christmas time. So perhaps that can be like a shawl or a wrap or something, just because I told you before, I'm a creature of comfort. I want to have the cozy things. And if it's Stranger Things related, I definitely want it something, like, warm and cozy, and you know what I mean? I want my comfort show to be comfort. So anyway, that will be Wednesday, though. So thank you for joining me now. And I will have more tomorrow. If I'm feeling well enough, I will be going out on a Pokemon Go adventure with Damon. And we'll film, I'm sure, some little adventures along the way. But yeah, on that note, I'm going to get this uploading, and then I'm going to bed. I need some more extra dosage of sleep. So, all right, take care, you guys. I love you so much. Bye.